Yeah guys, I'm Jason and welcome back to Street Car Culture YouTube channel. This is my 1983 Series 1 HB Coupe that I bought off Instagram sight unseen. It's just been delivered in the last couple of days, so I thought I'll grab the camera and I'll go through it with you guys, see if we can get it running, and show you some quick differences between the Series 1 and Series 2 HB Mazda Coupes. So let's get to it. So first things first, if we start from the rear, the grey car's a Series 2, 85, and the red one's a Series 1, 83. So straight off the bat, a couple differences are the tail lights. So if you can see here, tail lights sort of more streamlined, whereas I know that one's broken, but I like this one. Same shape, just different design, super simple. Second up is the rear bars. So on the Series 2 the rear bars are colour coded, top and bottom, and they have a different plastic sort of moulding design strip. So if you look at this one, the Series 1s are not colour coded, they're just plastic, and the mouldings are different in the bars. See if I can get a picture of them both together. You can see they're slightly different. Also too, to take note, is the probably can't see it too well with the sun, is the side mouldings on the Series 1 that are all thin, whereas on the Series 2, I've taken the moulding off, but on the Series 2 they're fat here where they meet the front and rear bars, and then they go skinny along. So a couple little differences there, but the main difference, I'm hoping you could see it, is the quarter pillar windows. So on the Series 1 you have this trim, and this is an actual window that that electronically comes up and down, so basically electric window, and you have a little switch. I don't know if you can see too much, but you're meant to have a little switch there. The other one has it and works, but this one's missing the switch. The little up and down switch, and this actually comes up and down. That's pretty unique, whereas the Series you can see the Series 2, they went just to like a pillar trim and no window. So yeah, so the Series 1's a little bit more quirkier because of that. They're a bit more unique with the actual body shape. Yeah, so this car, one of our subscribers got hold of me on Instagram and said that he had this thing sitting up at his farm, which was his mum's in country Victoria, and we came up with an okay deal, and I basically bought it sight unseen. Didn't know if it was running, didn't know nothing, didn't know if it was a rust bucket or what, but being a Series 1, okay deal, I thought I'll just grab it and then I'll suss it out when I get here, and I can either use it for parts or I can make a couple videos, which I'm doing now, getting it running and whatnot, and maybe sell it, or who knows. But become a bit of a hoarder with these 99 coupes, but I am slowly running out of room, so I need to get rid of some. So I think this one will get running, make sure it's all good, and then maybe advertise it, but we'll see how we go. So this is, the Series 1s have a unique, well, Series 2 and Series 1s have brown interiors. The Series 1s being early 80s still have like the unique sort of late 70s, early 80s Mazda seat designs. This one's a manual. Interior is mostly complete. It's actually pretty good for the age. All the roof lining's pretty good. Everything's there. Original stereo still intact, which is probably mostly what I'm keen about. But yeah, the Series 1s, so this is a manual, and it's an MA engine. So the Series 1s are the earlier Mazda MA engines, which come from like the sort of late 70s Mazdas, which might be the 929s. I don't know if the 808s have MAs. Yeah, 323s, 626s. So they're still a 2 litre, but they're just the older Mazda design. So as you would have seen in my early videos, the MA has exhaust on the left side, intake on the right side. Series 2 FE motors, a much better design. Exhaust is on the right side, intakes on this. So I've taken all this off. This is for another video, up and coming video, which I'll show you guys later. But yeah, just wanted to give you a quick walk around of the Series 1 929. So they're basically structural wise, besides the quarter windows, basically everything else is virtually the same. This one has its rust spots, but it's actually not too bad. All depends on what you want. It's been painted previously, it has a tow bar. I might actually pick the tow bar off it for my other one that I'm building. So I could do like drag challenges and stuff, I could take trailers or whatnot. So I do need a tow bar. Yeah, overall, haven't even vacuumed, haven't done nothing, so it's full of cobwebs, full of spiders, and I hate working on cars that are full of spiders. But overall, I think this interior will clean up really well. And yeah, so what we're going to do in today's video is we're going to whack a battery in it, see if we can get it fired up, see if we can get it running, and go from there. So I hope you enjoyed this episode, and let's see if we can get this this Instagram special that's been sitting for 10 plus years on a farm running. So straight off the bat, taking the air cleaner off, I can see that the fuel line has been removed from the carby, so that's always an excellent sign when trying to start a car. I think the old owner did tell me that they used to dummy up a fuel pump or something in here just to move it around, but that hasn't been done for quite some time. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hook all this back up. I've pulled the rear fuel pump plate off the spare wheel well. So on these cars, I don't know how well you can see it, but that's the fuel filter and fuel pump plate, and it bolts up to the bottom of the spare wheel well, and it's all hidden. So I've removed that. I had the battery on and the pump's not working, and I can't even feel the pump getting hot or like it's just dead. So I ordered another pump off eBay, which has arrived, just a little cheapie, and done some makeshift wiring, which is the original plug, and so I'll hook this in. We'll see if we get fuel pump noise, and then after that we'll see if we can get fuel to pump from the tank to up the lines, and then we'll go from there. I'll check back when I've installed the pump. Alright, so I've wired in the new fuel pump, which you can see down there. It's just a simple eBay special, cost me like 20 bucks delivered, if that. The fuel pump wiring runs in the boot, so what I've done is all the wiring was pretty dodgy, so I've cut it all out and I've replaced it with less dodgy wiring, but still equally as dodgy, but it works. So we're going to put some fuel in the tank and see if we can get some fuel coming out of the fuel line. So as I just mentioned, I'm going to start filling the tank up. Hopefully the tank doesn't have a hole in it and is not pouring out below me, but I can't really see that just yet. Can you see anything?
No, it looks good.
I'm trusting these old Mazdas. Their fuel tanks are usually not the issue. I've got 10 litres. I'm sure it's going everywhere in the boot as well as my tank. Alright, so I've just put the battery in. We've got the fuel pump wired dodgy. We've got fuel in the tank. I've got the line that feeds the carby bowls undone, and we'll just see if we can get fuel coming out. we have fuel. So if you come around here, this is the line that feeds the carby bowl here. That's a fuel supply line. So I just had fuel popping out of that, which means that the lines from the tank to the bay are clear and the lines and the actual tank's clear. I'll just show you quickly. I don't want to run it too long, but I'll show you the fuel coming out. Could you see the fuel coming out? Yeah, so what we're going to do now is quite simply, I'm going to find a hose clamp, bend this a bit straighter, hook all this up and see if our needle and seat is stuck, which means see if the float comes up, see if it holds level first, or see if it overflows. If it overflows, we'll start tapping it to see if we can get this needle and seat unstuck, but I have faith. No old Mazda I found has really let me down yet, so yeah, we'll sort that out and we'll come back to you. As you can see, that's our latest development. The fuel system now works. It primes the carby. It's not overflowing or anything like that, so it's one step. But when I was turning it over, it was either clicking or really slow on the starter. I got my partner to turn it over while I was hitting the starter with a hammer, and it turned over. It actually fired up for about 3 seconds, then stalled, and I haven't been able to get the starter to turn over since. So I pulled the starter out. This one here's the MA starter. I had this starter spare sitting around, but the bolt hole spacing is different, and I can't make it work. So I'm gonna have to order a starter motor. We'll try find one second hand or just order one, and then we will come back. Should be able to fire this car up for the first time, and then yeah, we'll go from there. Alright guys, I've been trying to sort out the starter motor. I've been pulling old starter motors apart. Even ran down the shop and spent almost 200 bucks on a new starter motor, which happened to be wrong and the bolt hole's incorrect. I've tried to make one starter motor out of two with this one. Just no dice, it just keeps clicking or nothing. So I've been bashing it and had my partner on the key, and I managed to get it to turn over. It fired for about 5 seconds. It did run, but unfortunately I wasn't able to grab it on camera, which sucks. But unfortunately, being a weekend, I can't just go and grab another starter motor, so I might have to leave this here. I know it runs now. I know it just needs a starter motor, but we did the fuel system. Fuel's in the bowl, doesn't leak anywhere. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. Like I said, unfortunately we weren't able to get it started for you guys on film, but it does run, and if I can be bothered wasting even more time on trying to sort a starter motor out for it, I might order another one, fit it up, and then come back to you guys and fire it up again. But yeah, pretty successful day minus the starter motor. It sucks, but unfortunately when you're playing with old cars, you come across these things, stuff's not bolting, listings at auto shops are wrong, and blah blah blah. So yeah, thanks for tuning in, and I'll see you guys at the next one.